Hello, darlings. It's your gal Reva again, and as I promised, today we're going to follow up on the If I Could Talk to My Younger Self video from earlier this week. So this one shouldn't be too long, but go ahead, grab yourself something to drink and maybe a snack, and we'll get started. Alrighty, so we have our drinks and our snacks. Let's jump into the last part of this little mini series. Last time we left off with how boys will break our hearts. So now, and that was for my 13 to 18-year-old ladies out there, the girls coming up behind us. Today, we're going to be talking to our 20-somethings. Never mind that voice in the background. That's my husband tormenting the dogs, which we have 3. Where was I? Oh, yes. To my young ladies that are in their young 20s, middle 20s, you're really picking up steam now. You're working full time, maybe you're in college, and honey, you think you got the world by the tail, and for the most part you do. You're going to find life is a lot busier now. You have money to spend on, go to Sephora and Ulta, and I guess girls these days shop online for their makeup. You can get all the high-end makeup you want now, if you want to be broke. But some of you are even maybe raising babies and trying to juggle work and home and maybe even college at the same time, and trying to make it all look effortless. Hats off to you, babies, because it's not effortless, as you know. But one thing I can say is it takes a lot of energy in these years to keep going and keep yourself up. And darling, all those late nights are going to wear you out. But believe it or not, your 20s are going to pass even faster than your teenage years, which you thought would never end. You're not a night owl anymore. Never were a morning person. You feel somewhat like a strange, permanently exhausted pigeon, for lack of a better term. It doesn't matter what you do. You're always tired, but you're always trying to give it your 100%, give it your all. Doesn't feel like there's enough hours of daylight in the day, but you still need to take care of yourself. Now, if you're trying to do the work and school and raise a baby, you're probably letting yourself slide a little bit. You're not taking care of your skin. You're not eating right. You're probably, instead of cooking, you're probably catching a burger in between classes or shifts or whatever. Yeah. Don't do that. It's just going to make you feel even more crappier and more exhausted. My bit of advice, because I've been there and I've done it, is you may not have time to put on a full face of makeup these days. You know, the days where you gotta run the baby to the sitter, then you gotta go to work, and then after work you got classes for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. Then you got homework, and you think that you're just never going to survive this, but you will. Honey, you will. You can't do a full face of makeup. There just isn't enough time. Hell, you barely have time to sleep and do your homework and everything else. Ladies, throw on some lipstick and some mascara. You'll be fine. That will make you look awake. It'll make you feel better. Because at least you're doing something. Because you don't have time to do it all. Although God love you, you try your hardest. The fact, and in this stage of your life, you're doing it. You're not trying to do it all. You are doing it all. And you're being all things to everyone. Your mom, your dad, your kids, if you have them. If not, you might have nieces and nephews. You're trying to be there for them. You're trying to help mom and dad. You're trying to make your way in the world. Figure out where you belong in the world. Pat yourself on the back because you're actually doing really good. You're still getting up every morning. You're still working yourself to the bone. That's not an easy thing to do. You may be out on the dating scene, the club scene. Lord knows at that age I was. I couldn't wait for Friday night to go out to, I don't even think the club exists anymore. But back home we had a place called Club Metro. And everybody who was anybody was there on Friday and Saturday night. And of course you do your best to primp and get ready, and because you want to look banging when you walk in that door. You want to turn heads. Oh, honey, if you could look back, when you get to be 40, 50, 60 years old and you look back on those times, you're going to think those are the best times of your life. You're out there, you're dancing, you're having fun, whatever. You might meet Mr. Awesome at that club. My word of advice on that is be very careful who you end up with. Because Mr. Nice and Respectful in the club may not be so nice and respectful away from the club. Just keep your eyes open. You're going to need to. As far as clothing goes, you might start to maybe get a little more conservative with your clothing choices, and that's fine. It's not bad at all. Everybody got to, have those clothes for the daily grind, and then those special outfits for nights at the club. Don't get them mixed up. You might get wrote up for that at work. One thing you're going to start noticing is your skin and your hair is going to start changing on you in your 20s. For some of us, it happens a little earlier. Some it happens a little later in that decade of the 20s. The oily, acne-prone skin clears up, and that's great. You think you're on the road to, being the next, top model. Or for some of us who had clear skin in high school, which was a blessing, Now that we're in our 20s, you might start getting acne for some strange reason. It can go either way. Your skincare routine is going to have to become a little bit more involved than Clearasil and what's that other stuff that they use? Things have changed so much in the last 20 years or so. I don't even know what's on the market anymore. I'll put it that way. But your skincare is going to have to get a little bit more involved because you're going to start noticing your skin is looking maybe a little drier, a little patchier. Your hair just don't want to do nothing. In your 20s, it's time to change it up. Start using a nice moisturizer on your skin. Don't go all the way to the top of the line because in a couple years your skin is going to change again and you don't want to have to go get something else. It's even more expensive because your skin changed again. You probably won't get out of that phase until you're in your mid-30s. Some of you might get lucky and not have to worry about changing your skincare routine again until you hit 50. If you're really blessed. But right now, things are in flux in your 20s. And some of you will learn that you have to, the person that you were at 17, 18, 19, 20, that may not feel right for you anymore. So you're going to have to go and rediscover yourself once again. It happens. As we get older and our thoughts change and our behaviors change, we as people change sometimes for the better. Some people end up just skidding right downhill in their 20s and they never recover it. They completely lose themselves. Don't become that person. What else can I tell you? Oh, let's see. My notes and thoughts are all over the place on this, so if this video isn't really like straight line coherent like my last one, I truly apologize. I've got little post-it notes all over my computer screen here. And my eyeballs keep bouncing back and forth to this one and that one. Yeah, there's not much more I can say, really, to you younger girls that I haven't said already. Except for maybe just wait till you hit your 30s. Life's going to get real interesting then. But in the meantime, grow, learn, and be comfortable with who you are. Don't try to change who you are for anyone else. Because changing who you are, losing yourself to make someone else happy, in the long run will make you miserable. And later on down the line, you're going to have to fight harder to either regain who you were in the first place or find yourself again. You don't want to be in that position. think I'm going to go ahead and end this right here for the day. It's given you a little bit to think about. Remember to be you, enjoy you, stay beautiful, and above all, stay you.